Oh dear, that is brutal. That is
honesty,
brutal.
man. Dennis,
dark.
Happy hour to you, my friend.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
another day.
Whoa.
Another dollar.
Whoa.
Here we are.
Whoa. So time passes so quickly. It's so much happens between Mondays.
So much has happened.
Wednesday, extra. But I think, did this happen before the last time we talked?
I did that math
and
as
the
well.
Answer's no. That happened since then.
The news cycle is just like a machine slapping your face.
One of the best I saw. John Hale. Oh, is that his name? From the circus, political circus, the biggest political circus on earth. John Hale, I think is his name.
Yeah. I've been watching a little bit of that, but I'm a couple weeks behind.
Watched the debate.
Yeah.
With Steve Bannon.
I've not seen that episode
and
yet.
Filmed the debate. He also went to bars in Texas and all over the United States, full of MAGA supporters, and filmed them. And they adore him.
Because he's the Republican of the team, right? Like he worked on the previous Republican campaigns and stuff.
I think he's. I don't know.
The little guy.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a little guy. Oh. He's not a little guy. He's a big guy. Bald, shaves his head kind of short.
Okay, no, I'm thinking of the little guy with the glasses that has Republican credentials. But anyway, yeah. So let's talk about all that has happened. So last time we recorded, we had the tax return information, or did we?
Excuse me. Oh, sorry. It's going to happen again.
All right, bring it on. Give it to me, baby. There it is. Oh yeah. So did we? Was that already a thing? Like I forgot where we were.
What?
Time is one thing about watching that circus show a couple weeks delayed is it's just like how intense everything was, and how from my vantage point I look back at that and I'm like, really, that's what you guys were worried about? Because here in the future it's just all escalated.
It's right. And so we can. There's a cartoon meme I wanted to send you, but I clumsied around with it when I received it and wasn't able to get it to you. And then I tried to Google it and find it, and it was just.
You sent me an image.
Yeah.
I was dealing bleach or something.
I couldn't send you, but it was him in the hospital.
Yeah.
Is this huge, dripping, fat, obese man with big, pendulous breasts, with stars from the flag over his nipples, just fat drooping off to the sides, and drinking bleach.
Yeah.
And reading Mein Kampf bedside.
Well, that's ridiculous. Why would he be reading?
I love this when this happens, when somebody does this. They send it to you and they say, this is too much. And the response, of course, would be, obviously not, because you, like a million other people, just forwarded it.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah. Okay, so the big news since we recorded last is POTUS got the COVID.
POTUS got the COVID.
POTUS got the COVID. He's all COVIDed.
So he's at the White House. Here's a scene from the White House. Oh, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. We rush to the president's side. Oh, and what they do, because he's having a panic attack, is they give him fucking oxygen. And he fucking calms down, and they say, fuck, this is serious. They take his temp. He's got a fever. They immediately start to do shit. But this is how it starts. He is so fucked up and stressed. So you want to see an image. He filmed, of course, him walking to the helicopter with a walk, which I want you to show his walk next to Putin's walk. Putin is a distinctive walk. Putin is a man who, when he's walking, he knows exactly where he's going. He's going to get there right away. He'll be there first.
Or of a strut.
That's how Putin walks.
Yeah.
And Trump tries to do this. So side by side in your spare time, show these two walks. But here's the thing that I want you to start to watch in these clips, is that when Trump gets to the end of a staircase, he's so happy to get there without a major fall or stumble that he now has a habit of tapping the top of the staircase banister twice when he gets to the end of it. And you will see this. We may be the first to report it. We'll see who else picks it up. But it is, when you watch it, you know exactly. He's tapping the post and he's saying, good banister. You helped me make it.
I made it, right.
Okay, good. I've been there. I've been in that shape where I needed help with a banister and was very glad that it worked, because in other times it had worked. That's not so good. Rare times that they were, but I've been there. I know that feeling. And then there's the thing going on.
Yeah, so
tap.
all the libs are all like, haha, karma, you got what you deserve. And of course now all the conservatives are like, how can you be so mean wishing something ill on your president? When if you look back at how they treated Obama and stuff, it was just the worst. But
did you hear what Chris Rock said?
No.
Did you hear what Chris Rock said? He says, I don't get it. He says, people are saying we wish you well. And what they really mean to say is, since our first wish came true, we wish you well.
Yeah. So my hot take is that it's going to kill him. Next week he's going to get rushed to the ICU, and within 2 days he's going to be reported dead. I
have predicted, you can go back a year and predicted that he would kill himself in the White House. And I imagined a weapon, a gun, which is silly. This is the way he's going to do it.
He's never fired a gun.
No.
But yeah, so I think his health is so poor and his disdain for hospitals and science and doctors is that he ordered people that are legitimately his underlings to release him from the hospital against their recommendation, he's just that stupid, and he's so self-centered that he cannot even his lack of empathy means that he cannot contemplate death or what it would be like for the universe to exist without his id in it. And so I just think he doesn't have any concept of risk or danger because he's never had any consequences. Never been consequences for him. And so he's just going to run himself into this ground, and therefore there won't be any consequences for all of the $420 million of debt and shit that he owes. And my prediction is that before, let's see, no, we're going to record again next week, but before Halloween, he will be departed.
Dead?
Yes.
That is quite the prediction.
That's
so you might be contacted. When this airs.
It will air after I'm already proven and will have not edited out my.
You'll be a suspect.
Why?
You said a lot of bad things about the President of the United States. And it's all recorded, and it's all out there on the way. And now if he dies...
He's a dumbass.
Dun.
Right. Motive, but means? From here? I don't know.
Your Russian contacts. You've been to Russia recently in the past year.
I did. I stayed in a B&B near the Kremlin. It's true.
Yeah. We're pretty close. Walking distance to the Kremlin. Spitting distance. 9 iron from the Kremlin. 9
iron from the Kremlin is what we say in the spy business. Yep. So, yeah, it's so hard to transport those.
Suspect number one.
It's so hard to transport those vials of acid, though. They can break and spill. Not yet.
Oh! Hey! The third day.
Whoa. Dude. So.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa. What?
Let's talk about this. So I got an email from Dennis saying, "Watch the third day." Whoa, more or less. It was about as articulate as he just was, and I did my best. I was able
just lukewarm for most people.
I was able to acquire it without learning anything about it. I didn't look who the actors were. All I learned was that there were 3 episodes available, and I didn't watch any trailers or know anything about it apart from the title. And as I said in my email back to you, the third day, I was like, could this be about like Easter Sunday? That's an important third day. Or could it be like after the apocalypse, what happens on the third day? To be honest, I've watched the first 3 episodes and the actual meaning of the title is not available yet. But so go watch it. This is going to be a slight spoiler for anyone that is listening, but you can skip to the next chapter. It started off.
It's like something I haven't seen ever. Yeah. So the filming, the cinematography.
Yes, that's where I was going. The depth of field trick.
So trippy. Just close-ups of faces and everything so out of focus in the background that it's all just a mesh of colors.
That's a really cool effect that they accomplished there.
And it reminds me of what you did to my fishing picture that we've talked about and posted before, now re-examined, which was you colorized and not almost cartoonized, but not in a clownish fashion, the picture of the river, which had a very trippy, oh my God, what the fuck? This is so cool. Look to it.
Yep, this is Photoshop filter
on acid. That's what this is.
So the way they do that is it's when you really zoom in, if you use like a macro lens, like all the pictures that you see of like the face of a fly or something, they've dialed in the depth of field to the point where it's only things at a certain plane from the lens are in focus. So you can have it so that the person's eyes are in focus, but the tip of their nose is not. And that effect that they use so well in this, especially in the introductory 5 minutes, is it just makes you feel this so otherworldly trippiness, like this man is about to experience something crazy.
It's riveting. It's from the moment it starts, for me, without an exception, every moment was so enjoyable for different reasons throughout, but there wasn't one moment of that film that I didn't just fucking love it.
Right.
How frequently can you say that over the course of a full hour? And so did you see the third episode yet?
Yeah, I've seen all three that are available. I think they're each like an hour long. I think there's 3 hours available. But and man, if you could pick a worse time to do some acid, I'm guessing it would be during some sort of medieval witch bonfire festival that's going on. It's where everyone's wearing masks and shit. It's like
this spoiler alert here, and I'm sorry, but if people see this, I want them to notice this, as if they won't. The end of the second episode, in fact, is one of the scenes of dancing around a fire with masks, which was prominent for the entire festival, and was awesome. And at the end, when the credits came, they showed a continuation of a bonfire scene because they had cut away from it, and now they went back to it, except this time the showing of it was upside down.
Whoa.
And as the people danced,
I stopped it before
and they all started raising their arms up in the air and dancing with their arms and their hands and their hips, it had the strange effect when they were upside down that they, in fact, were hanging by their feet.
Oh, God.
And it went on for all the credits, all the music. And when it was over, I fell forward out of my chair, rolled down the living room floor, hurt my back. And there's so few. I love to watch shit. I love to see these episodes, Billions and Succession and Ray Donovan, which of course is redundantly so. I loved it. There was the same effect for me.
Right.
There was never one moment in every episode the entire time that I wasn't right there in that movie, enjoying it in a million different ways. But yes, this the third day, just fucking phenomenal.
And I'm not a big fan of horror stuff. Certainly all the silly movies with jump scares and stuff where someone's walking through the forest and they're all scared and then something jumps out at them. That's meh. And it's not that it scares me, it's just that it seems so cheap and easy. But the type of horror that I do love is the slow psychosis of the protagonist horror, where it's just the protagonist is going about his day and then something happens and it's wait, that didn't just happen, and then he convinces himself, no, that wasn't there, and then little by little ratcheting that up is I do enjoy the slow descension into psychosis, which is every episode of the show, really.
But in and out of psychosis, and with such a powerful underlying reason as to why there should be psychosis, because it is overwhelmingly the fact that based on what he's gone through, he would be psychotic.
Correct.
It's particularly when stressed with environmental conditions.
Yes. Job,
moving, unemployment, travel, the big ones that we all stress from. A trigger of psychosis in a world where he is existing, where he's driving and existing, which is, at its very mildest, eccentrically beautiful and strange. And that beauty, that kind of almost foreboding beauty, but a dark beauty.
It's a dark paradise.
And when you finally get there, the images that you see go from that to inexplicable.
Right.
And when they become inexplicable, your emotion is, this is my emotion, what the fuck? What is this now? What?
Exactly. Right. If they can lead you on enough to be like, this is weird, but it's understandably weird. I can see how this could be an island of people that live like this. And it's okay. These are weird, freaky people, but I guess they could all believe in what they believe in.
But the introduction, the introduction to what the faith was and the belief was in episode 1 through episode 2 was so nuanced and slow moving that
they could just give you little bits and pieces. Yep.
There were perplexing things, there were bewildering things, but there wasn't any rush to what later became, what the fuck is that? What is that? Listen, I think we've talked about this before. I'm no fan of fucking visceration.
No.
Visceration. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
no.
Just what an amazing performance by Jude Law. Jude Law is the protagonist for those that are still with us.
No, and
he's so good.
He transformed. He gained weight. He's
a good-looking dude.
He is less so here. He's more average-looking here.
And he gets dirtier as every minute goes by.
Of course he is. He is at the end of the day, Jude Law. The problem is that when he did the young Pope, there's no turning back from those images of Jude Law playing a godlike, handsome Pope walking on the beach in his white skivvies with all the nuns dancing on the beach in their bikinis, and him turning and winking at the camera as the music is just fucking jamming. So strange. But because of that impression of him, he is a remarkably handsome man. When he played the robot in the Steven Spielberg movie with Little Joel.
He wasn't the robot. He was the father, I think, wasn't he?
No, he was the robot. He was the womanizer robot that they hired. And they turned his natural beauty into a robotic approach, which is stunning. So between those two.
Yes, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, he's remarkable in that. It's remarkable. Now, he is aided with some of the best fucking tech of its fucking time, and certainly stands up today, is seamless. And the nuances of his jerky movements were back in the day, you would know that was a edit. Here. It's seamless, absolutely seamless.
Right. So back to the third day. What a great literary premise to have, and these do exist. I've been on one, an island that is unreachable at certain times of the day due to tides.
Yes.
What a great idea that, and also, the crappy cell service. That's
a great setting. Oh, of course.
But it's this isolation and being lost with this weird tribe of people. And I assume, given what I know about you, you would have connected with the sort of ancestral memory parts of it. That he could be like, I know this place, having never physically himself been there.
Which is
just sort of a thing I know you believe in.
No, it's not.
You wholeheartedly believe in.
It's not a matter of faith. It's a matter of observation. It's a matter of experience.
Okay.
So, just so you know.
Okay. But yeah, it was. I was able to find some time to watch them more or less all back to back, and it blew my mind.
Tonight is the Pence-Kamala Harris debate.
Yep.
And the plexiglass issue comes up. Yep. And the South Carolina election with Jamie Harrison and Lindsey Graham, and the Jamie Harrison campaign said, we want plexiglass. And they did plexiglass. The station decided it was plexiglass. They both agreed to it and went up. Well, so good precedent there. And now, of course, Pence is in the circle. There's been 18 people who work in the White House. Yeah. The Secret Service broke the code and said he doesn't care about us. That fucking joyride. He gets in a van and says, "Take me out. I want to see the fans. I want to see my fans."
This is news to no one.
In a hermetically sealed van, which means that there is no way for air to get in, no way for air to get out. It's all recirculated. Every single one of those people with probably the best mask as far as I know and from what I've heard, sure. But nonetheless, a careless thing. And
no benefit.
So Kamala Harris says, all right, we each should have plexiglass and go from there. And Pence says, you want to wall yourself off from people, you go ahead. But you're not going to dictate that that's what we do. We don't need plexiglass. You want to enclose yourself, that's up to you. To which I hope Kamala Harris's people say, okay, dumb fuck, hope you don't get sick. Fine, whatever. And so if Pence thinks he's going to fucking alpha man, the fucking alpha woman, have you seen her debate? Have you seen her in her ripping apart people during public testimony in the Senate? Oh my God. She can't slaughter him. She can't eviscerate him on stage and show fucking guts and stuff. But
I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
It's a matter of how deep do we cut him? It's like
Yes.
you sort of want to slaughter him, but that wouldn't look good. So you just sort of want to maul him a little bit.
You want people to walk away and say just one thing. This is the only thing that matters. Well, she handled that well.
Which means, like, we have this whole concept of calling someone a liar is ugly.
Right.
But if they're lying, or if the person calling the other person a liar is a Republican, then it's okay. Like, the double standard is just so deep and deafening and painful. Yeah.
All you can say, if you have time to say it, is the truth is da-da-da-da-da. The truth is, so picture Biden going at it with Trump, and Trump is interrupting him. And Biden's response to a lie, instead of calling him a liar,
right,
is to say the truth. The truth is, and say it.
Right.
Here's the problem with that. He can only get out one
sentence.
Word.
Right, one
word before he's interrupted again. So saying truth is, his time's up. And if he says it again, now he's repeating himself. If he starts to say the truth, it ends up taking too long. Alpha bulldog Trump fucking in some instances looks like he intimidated him. What Kamala Harris learns from this is that she is much more in control of her tightness between her intellect, her oratory, and her understanding the third rail of how it appears on television.
Right.
And she is remarkable. She did modeling. She did acting. She was a dancer. She understands what it means to be the center of attention.
Right.
And to make that interesting. Not roll your eyes, not who the fuck do you think you are,
well, and Pence
not aren't you cute. Pence, how much
Pence is just
a robot?
Yeah, Pence is just as white cardboard as Biden. Like, Pence has never.
I don't think that's. If Biden is white cardboard, which I wouldn't demean him that way. But let's say that's ground zero. Then Pence is way worse than that.
Exactly. Like he has so much less charisma. Biden has so much more charisma.
Veracity. And veracity.
Veracity and veracity.
And velocity.
And voraciousness.
He talks too fast. He said the other day that he said at the town hall that he said, look, he said, when I was young and I grew up, I had a stutter. And because I had a stutter, people made fun of me. When they made fun of me, I got to tell you, some of them I just took out back. They called me leather strap. So when people come at me, I know what to do. And the other day when we were doing that debate, yeah, I probably shouldn't have said these things, but it was frustrating. It was very difficult. And he was just so genuine about it. He says, yeah, what I should have said was he should.
Am I human? Do I make mistakes?
He didn't mean to be funny, but he was funny because he said, instead of saying, do you people know what this clown is doing? I should have said, do you know what this clownish activity is? No, that's not what he said. Do you know what this clownish?
No, but that gets at the point.
What this clownish situation is.
Right.
And he was right about the way he said it. But at the end of the day, it's a picture of Trump that we've seen so many times in so many wonderful fucking cartoons and just the most fabulous artwork of a fucking clown, an evil clown.
Yeah. Okay. So why?
An out of breath, fucking made up. When he went into the White House.
Okay.
After he took off his mask, he went in and something happened and they did another take. He stepped back outside and walked in again. Maybe what he did when he stepped that first step coming in the door the first time was because he was so out of breath in the balcony which you can see in the video. Watch a slow-mo of his made-up face having difficulty breathing.
I'm telling you, he's dead next week. That's my prediction. Okay, the problem I have with these debates is who are these debates for?
For me.
To me,
they're for people like me.
To me, these debates are just theater of, look, everyone, we have a democracy.
Oh, that's bullshit.
But hold on. But okay, who is undecided?
Interview?
Who is undecided?
You got to brush up on this. So there have been town hall meetings of independents who all, in order to be selected for the town hall meeting, have to be undecided. And they will
answer that they're undecided.
Whether they're leaning or whether that they're truly undecided. And they will ask their questions, and they will opine. And at the end of the first debate, for example, many of the undecideds, when asked, what were the words that you chose, were disgusting, a joke,
right?
No, unknowledgeable, and just all negative. With a show of hands, how many people leaned toward Biden, raised their hand? Biden was the clear winner in that regard. Not winner or loser.
This is media theater.
It is, in fact, that. It is theater, but it's good theater, but it's honest theater.
Right, but it's to get network ratings.
No, that's a byproduct of it.
Okay, look, if you are undecided, you are even dumber than someone supporting Trump. Because, like, you have to.
No, let me give you a situation. So I heard a woman the other day. She said, "I am as Catholic can be. Every second, every
it's like the start of a limerick.
I am.
I'm as Catholic as Catholic can be. I go to church.
Catholic as the Catholic
from 2 to 3.
And I will not support a candidate who supports abortion, which is why I've been supporting the Republicans. However, Trump has tested this for me. And even though it's been a no-brainer from day one because of my faith, I have to say I don't know what I'm going to do because he is so awful.
Yeah.
But this is my issue. Not only the most important issue for me, the only issue for me. That's an undecided voter.
In that case, neither are the right answer for you.
But this person's smart enough to know that a vote for a third party is a vote for Trump. So you've got to have at least that amount of understanding of the equivalency. No, I discard. That's no. Okay, that doesn't work in this scenario at all.
So
that's a straw man.
Okay, but saying that Trump is for or against anything related to the church or faith or women's health, like he has no opinion.
He's filling a Supreme Court with people who don't believe in abortion.
Right.
End of the story.
That's because his handlers are telling him
all we need to understand.
Okay, fine.
It's not what he believes, which is where you're headed.
Okay, in that case you are decided. If you would rather have children dying of malnutrition rather than abortion, then Trump is your man.
Let me ask you a question. Give me your one-sentence definition of the word doubt. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not really sure.
Erik.
Is that okay?
I guess I threw you a softball. Aren't you funny? Oh, hey, so wait, I got to show you. Look at this beer I found. I went into this walk-in cooler because I had only one Schmittix left. I go in this walk-in cooler in this out-of-the-way place, get some potato chips to munch. I took a ride in my convertible in the nice daylight and stopped and got some chips and bought some beer. And this I found, and it's Phelan, Phelan, Irish Red, the City Brewing Company, Bay City, Michigan. And look at the picture. What does Phelan mean, particularly when the picture is of that animal? What is that?
Like a cat wolf in a tuxedo. Phelan.
Phelan. And I don't even know how to pronounce it. Phelan.
I got a feeling. Okay.
Oh, I got a feeling.
I found it. That is a cat. That's a cat in a tuxedo. Or a fox. Those ears, those are cat
No.
ears.
It's a wolf.
Nah, bullshit.
It's a wolf.
All right,
It's
we'll
a wolf
post it
with a white breast.
in the
But how
show
do you
notes.
pronounce it? And what does it mean? Phelan. Phelan. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
I think I got a feeling that you are, yeah.
Oh, I got a feeling. You go on believing.
So Dennis,
I'm in love with you.
one of the things that the third day reminded me of was the show I've been telling you have to see called Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Yeah, this Netflix thing. I know
that is
shit.
It's the other thing that the level of creepiness for people who haven't seen the third day yet. It's the level of creepiness of a show called True Detective. Did you watch that?
Yes.
The first season of True Detective was like, what the fuck sort of scary voodoo shit is going on here?
This?
What is this? And it was never really explained. There were a bunch of internet theories about what was going on, but that was reminded of that. But the other thing is this Black Mirror situation where in every episode someone gets into this thing that is just creepy and wrong, but you can understand their motivation and things get worse and worse. We need to go to patreon.com/happy hour and get Dennis a Netflix subscription so that we can talk about this cool stuff on Netflix.
So this is here's the deal.
Go ahead and defend yourself.
No,
I want to continue to talk about a Netflix show that I want us to talk about. There's this pretty famous podcast called Sound Exploder. Song Exploder, that I will put in the show notes. And it's pretty. What they do is the host talks to a musical artist, and they break down and talk about how the musical artist created this particular song. Often it's one of their more famous songs or something like that. So imagine if, I don't know, to give an impossible example, imagine if the host sat down with John Lennon and they talked about, how did you come up with Imagine? And what was this process or something like this? And it's really cool because they talk about all these decisions about, I was going to use the hi-hat here, but I decided that was too much and we did this other thing. And it's just it's the perfect audio experience because it's all audio and it's all nicely recorded. But anyway, this particular podcast has recently achieved a deal with Netflix to make a documentary series where they do the same thing, but it's a documentary where they talk to these famous musicians about how they created this particular song. And I've only seen 2 of the episodes so far. The third episode is talking to REM about Losing My Religion, which is their most famous song that in theory they aren't that fond of. They have no idea why that particular song was popular, but I haven't heard that episode yet. But the second episode was about a song from Hamilton, and they had Lin-Manuel Miranda on and his co-creator, and how they talked about how they created this, how they went with these emotions and stuff. And it's just a beautiful, fascinating look into creation and the creative mind. And like in this particular episode, Lin had already created the chords. Like he knew what the chords were going to be, but he couldn't get the verse. And he took a subway ride to go to a friend's house for a house party, and he was listening on his iPod at the time to the chords over and over again, and it just came to him. And while he was walking to his friend's house, he recorded a voice memo on his iPhone of the lyrics that was the inspiration that turned into the actual song. Just that glimpse into what the fuck creativity is pretty damn fascinating. And I think you love this particular show, and you need to pony up the money for Netflix.
I know. So here's the issue. I need an IT solution household. I don't want to just add Netflix. I've got expenses that I'm on pretty close to fixed income, although the things are looking up. I've had my first 2 post-COVID contracts.
Congratulations.
So, yes. So anyway, there'll be some cash flow. But anyway, so beautiful weather here, man. Just the fall, the leaves are turning, the work on the shed continues.
Tell me about the shed. Shed some light, bro.
I'm closing out at it. I've got a picture of putting the shingles up, put in a window that folds up on the inside, raises on hinges. It's large. It's 50 inches long and 30 inches tall. It's a big window, and it latches on the ceiling. And in front of it is a work table for potting plants. And right outside of it is a surprise to my wife. She doesn't listen to this, so it's not going to be a surprise. Is going to be a window box for flowers.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
How romantic.
How organic.
Romantic.
So erratic.
Orgasmic was the word I was going for. I had an interesting.
Yes, I imagine you would enjoy pounding your flesh into some warm soil, warm from the hot mornings of the summer. Pour a little water on there, get a little mud going, whatever.
There you go. That's gotta plant some seed. So
That's not what they mean.
oh okay.
You you misunderstood the instructions on the seed packet.
I have a little surprise for my wife that's coming up where that's not what I meant. You filthy.
Oh, don't hit me with those when I'm slugging on my brewski. Oh my God.
Okay,
What?
that was the perfect spit take for any listener. So a couple months ago, a friend of ours that likes to do watercolor paintings of just the places around where we live, he did one of this particular path that my family is fond of walking, and he posts these like on Facebook and stuff. Just like he turns them out in a couple hours and posts them, and every once in a while someone will say, "Hey, could I buy that from you?" But most of the time it's just like practice. So anyway, he posted one of these, and it was of this particular path that we're fond of, and I said, "Hey, that path means a lot to my family. Could we buy that from you?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." And I said, "Great." And I said, when we walk down this path, for some reason, we got into this habit of my wife and I recite this little poem, this little old English poem. And I don't know when that started or how it started, but it got to the point where when we're in that location, like we start to say that thing. And so I mentioned this to my friend, the artist, and he said, "Oh, if you want, I could totally redraw it and put in that poem. And if you have a photo of your family, I could copy so it looks like your family is walking up this path." He said, "It'll cost you whatever I said plus a bottle of wine." And I said, "Fuck yes, do that." And so I commissioned this. So we're going to have this unique to our family.
When is that coming? In weeks, maybe?
No, so this was months ago. This was like in April. And he did it, and he sent me the picture of it, and I said, "Great, I'll stop by and get it sometime." And then months went by, and we see each other sometimes when we're walking around on the street, but we're never at his house where he can give it to me. And months went by, and it just sat in his house. And so the other day, he sent me this message saying, "Hey, are you going to come and get this thing or what?" It wasn't that hostile. But I said, "Yes, let's definitely do this because it would be a great present for my wife for our anniversary coming up next week."
Oh, how sweet.
And I said, "Yes, let's do this. Let's meet up and I'll buy you a drink and we can talk for a little bit and you can give it to me." And he said, "Why don't I just drop it off at the local guy that frames all of my work and then you can pick it up the day later, but I'll still go out and have a drink with you." And I said, "Great, let's do that." And so we did. We went out and had a drink with him, and he said he left it at the framer place, and that he would come in, and that I should pay the framer guy, and the framer guy would pay him his cut. But I also gave him a bottle of nice wine, and so that was cool. And then the next day, so like he contacted me on a Wednesday, I met up with him on the Thursday where he dropped it off at the framers on that same Thursday morning, and then on Friday I went to go pick it up at the framers because it was done. And so I had it, and I started away to give to my wife in early October, and then my wife sent his wife a message saying, "Hey, remember that photo? Remember that painting that he did?" Because she doesn't know that I had it redone with our family. She just thinks that it's the original one. She contacted him. She contacted his wife and said, "Hey, I'd like to get that for Erik for his birthday." And so she told me, your wife wants to get you this thing that you have already acquired to give to her for your birthday. It's just this perfect. She said it's a beautiful problem to have that you both love each other enough to give this exact same thing. But anyway, she doesn't know that I've had it redone with actually personalized to our family. She just thinks it's a painting of this place. God. That should be cool.
That's remarkable.
Isn't that a cool story?
Remarkable.
So the painter and his wife were just laughing that this had happened like in the same exact week. If he had
what are the dates of these two events?
My birthday and our anniversary. Or what?
Yes.
They are next Monday and Tuesday.
Wow. Big week.
Yeah. So.
Big week. So the passing of famous
Eddie Van Halen,
guitar player of remarkable ability.
Yes.
Remarkable. At the age of 65.
65 is a pretty good run for a rock style life.
Yeah. He was pretty heavy
of life.
Yeah. Pretty heavy into drugs and all sorts of shit.
But yeah, it's a shame. I was not a huge fan, but I certainly appreciated all of his music. It was a little bit before my time. I wasn't quite a teenager in the time of that sort of hair rock was what they call it. But rest in peace.
Rest in peace. I'll tell you, man, the pace of when we started recording, I was out of breath because I had to put away all my tools. But I want to tell you about this tool that I used. So imagine that you've got a plywood side of a building with a window in it, and over the top of that plywood, you lay a bunch of tar paper that's stapled in with staples everywhere. Then on top of that tar paper, you're going to pound in using these little tiny nails, pine shingles. And those pine shingles are the original pine shingle from the house from 1910, and remarkably in shape. Some are brittle and not usable, but most are usable. So I'm redoing all the shingles. And so imagine that you've got a building that's 10 feet,
shingles,
a 10 feet wall, and every row of shingles, it takes 20 shingles, and you put a new row every 5 inches. And it's an 8-foot tall building.
It was
so
a 10-foot
you've got
wall.
Row after row, 12, 14, 15 rows from the ground floor all the way up. Make sure the first one's level, and then make all the other layers level to that.
Yeah.
So here's the tool. When you're hammering, because I'm not abnormal in this way, although there is some abnormality involved, is that when you're nailing a little nail in the side of a piece of plywood, which doesn't take nails because it's mixed with concrete, and there's a fine layer of concrete in between the layer of wood on plywood. That's why it's so heavy.
Plywood is mixed with concrete?
Concrete and wood, yeah.
What the?
Yeah, it's a very thin, razor-thin layers of. That's why when you hit it, the powder will erupt. But anyway, you don't want to. So it's a problem. You got to nail 20 every 5 inches, 10 feet. So that's every foot. That's 2. You got 40 rows of shingles, 20 rows. All right, 2 nails each. You got to pound in 8,000 nails.
No, it was. Let's do that math again.
So
20 rows.
It's a lot of nails. Don't quote me. It's a lot of nails. It's a lot.
I got 1,600, but it's a lot of fucking nails.
1,600. It's a lot of fucking nails. Plus, when you're nailing in a small nail, depending on how the nail starts to go when you nail it, sometimes you have to turn the hammer a little bit, and you got to tap it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That's a lot of moving your elbow up and down, holding a hammer. Instead, I have a pneumatic hammer, which is connected to an air hose, which is on a swivel connection.
Isn't that what I call a nail gun?
Air house, like a mouse.
A nail gun?
Is that swivelly, and it has a little cylinder that's magnetic where you put a nail, and when you put the nail up against the house and you push on it, it goes, and depending on how much you push it, how often you push it, nails in. Next one. So the first row, I laid down a plank, made the plank level, laid the shingles up against the plank was level, started all the nails, got my pneumatic, and went, and did 20 shingles across the side and got the first row straight. Another row, used a chalk line and I showed my granddaughter this today.
Well, hold on. A chalk line is a piece of rope that you've dipped in chalk that then you can slap against the thing and it makes a line.
This is another tool. Maybe we'll post this. There's a tool that's shaped like a diamond, and it's a cylinder that has a crank on it. And what it's cranking is a big, long string.
Right.
And that string is very tough, very thin, but very tough. And at the end of it, it has what should be a magnetic hook that you'll hook onto a nail. And when you open the door at the top of the diamond to look at the string, you take a container of blue, pink, or yellow chalk
Ooh, I was thinking
with
white.
a nozzle and squirt it into the container, close the container up, shake the diamond, and then when you lay your string from one angle to another angle, but you have to make sure it's level before you pull the chalky string.
No kidding.
So what do you do to make sure that you don't have 2 chalk lines, which is worse than no chalk lines? Is you have to have a first step. The first step is nail where you think it goes, hook an orange string, stretch it to where you think the nail goes on the other side, eyeballing it, so to speak, based on the shingles beneath it, which are straight.
Mm-hmm.
And then laying the orange string. The orange string, in order for it to be taut, needed a weight. And the weight that I found is this cool thing that weighs about a pound, and it is a all-metal head of a turtle with turtle eyes and a turtle beak and a turtle neck. And at the core of that turtle neck is a hole where you can insert a pipe. And it, in fact, is a design of what to put at the end of a railing a pipe railing,
right.
so that it's pretty. And it's sort of like a gargoyle, but would be at the end of a banister or a straight banister or something like that. And so I tied
Or like a garter turtle.
Say more.
So you use this weight to hold the orange line, and then you get it level, and then you use the chalk line.
Yes.
Because if you do it more than once, then it's going to be chock full of lines.
So I told my granddaughter, I said, hey, you want to know how Grandpa knows whether the line is straight? She said, yeah. And I said,
Jesus.
I asked the turtle. She said, turtle? I said, yes, I asked the turtle, and the turtle tells me. Do you want me to show you the turtle later? And she said, yeah. I said, okay. And so I taught her all this stuff and went to the turtle when it was taught on the nails.
I went to the turtle when it was taught on the nails, yes.
Yes. And went over and said, hello, turtle, meet George. And George says, hello, turtle. And so is the line straight, turtle? I don't know, Grandpa. You'll have to get out the level and you'll have to see. And she laughed out loud. She just screamed. Oh, she thought it was so funny. And I said, what a level is? She said, no. And I said, go get that. It's over there. It's leaning in the wall. And she goes for a hammer. And I said, no, not that. The long thing. And she gets a level, which is 4 foot long, but it's made out of aluminum. So it's very light. And it's actually 3 feet long. And and she brings it over to me, and I show her the bubbles in between. And then I show her the chalk. Nice. And she knows what chalk is. And I made her touch it and then look at her finger and say, this is a line. And then I said, watch this. And I snapped it. Oh. And she burst out laughing.
Of course, that's the coolest. That's the punchline.
Yep. And I said, now let's get the level and let's check to see if it's level. And we did it again. And she found it in between the two things. And who knows?
Great lesson.
3.5. But it was so much fun to be, and I have fun doing this work, figuring this stuff out. But
the grandkid is another level, so to speak.
That when I needed a weight, because I said, this is a pain in the ass. The first thing I did was I wrapped the string around my hammer.
We've all done that.
It kept falling off. As a guy, I need a solution here. So I walk into my shed, into my garage, my carriage house, and there
with the turtle
on a nail.
Do you need me?
An ornament,
said the turtle.
And I look to see whether it's got a jut on it that you can tie, or whether it's just a hole. If it was just a hole, how are you going to tie this thing on? Sure enough, there's a screw that you use to connect this ornament to a pipe, and the screw's on the side of it. And so I tied the string around that, and it was the talking turtle to tell me whether it was level.
Nice. So Mitch McConnell helped you.
So the debate tonight. What do you predict about Kamala? This is a closing note. I've got to grab dinner. What do you think will happen? You didn't watch the last one. You gonna watch this one?
Hell no. Well, let me pivot back. Let me tell you a quick story. Tonight, before we got on the call, I had a pretty unique experience. Today is my grandmother's 96th birthday.
Oh, yes.
And for her birthday, my parents and some of her kids organized a Zoom call with 20 different family members. And at her residence home, they were able to bring her into the theater of the home.
Yes.
And project onto the big screen the Zoom call of all 20 of us there. God. And we went around and we each said, happy birthday, Grandma. We love you.
Nice.
Her great-great-grandchild was there. She has a grandson that is a grandfather. Like, wow. And anyway,
he has a grandson who is a grandfather.
Yes.
Oh.
That's what great means. Yes.
96. Great.
It was great to use that word again. But it was just a unique experience to surprise her, because when she was born 100 years ago, like she mentioned, when I was a child, the only thing in the sky were birds. And she's seen man go to the moon and satellites and the network that it enabled us from like 10 different time zones to connect and be together as a family, which is a beautiful thing. Doesn't happen every day.
It's amazing, man. God bless her.
And the tech that enables us to do this now is just fantastic. Like that we can be continent away and have this weekly call, which is just a beautiful thing.
So I want to ask you to do this. When you get ready for an upcoming show, when you get a minute, I want you to take a sound bite and an image bite of your each of your boxing and your motorcycle driving.
Oh, you've seen those.
And I'm going to,
Lazy
but
fuck.
I want.
Anyway, continue. Do I have to ride my bike over there and kick your ass? What's, come on.
Anyway,
finish the sentence.
So I want to see them during the podcast, and we'll take a moment for me to see them, and I want you to talk about what you're hearing, because I want you to. But I don't know how long they are that you sent me, but you just need a snippet for the
4 hours
that would be
of boxing.
fun.
Yeah. Okay. We can probably manage that.
Oh, where are you tonight?
I'm here.
Why did you leave me here all alone?
Because of COVID.
I searched the world over, and I thought I found true love.
I'm right here.
You met another.
That's true.
You met another.
Yep.
You met another. And this is for you.
Love you, brother. See you next week.
Love you, man.
Okay, that does it for episode number 79 of the Happy Hour podcast. You can find the show notes at happyhour.fm/079. You can find links to the Netflix specials and HBO shows that we talked about. And if you'd like to go to patreon.com/happyhour, you can pledge a little bit of money so we can get Dennis a Netflix subscription. And we will see you next week.